her report is ready.
You see, all these happened behind closed doors.
I am telling you because, yes, because you are questioning.
But the play out happened in front of us.
Of course, that is why I'm now letting, good, it's good. That is what I'm telling you there. Nimpa nso kekene ni bumfu. Bibi besia, no nem bibi do. Okay? Me nso keke. No one can do, oh, Afenyo-Markin, the gentleman we know, the man who is known to be patient, is acting this way because things have gone on and on and on, and it's getting to a point that your hands are tied. They are not even giving you the space.
So you are lashing out because your hands are tied.
It gets to a point in life you must. But that is a reality. But
surely there must be a time when you have you believe that you could have done things better, and you have.
It's always the case. You can always reflect and say, oh, you could have done it better. But there are times that, looking at the situation, you need to also survive. All right? You need to survive because what was happening was that bad. Look, on Friday, even in the morning, where we had agreed to a pre-sitting meeting, only to watch on the screens, they were swearing in Akando. We didn't have a problem with Akando. Akando is a gentleman. Akando does his politics right. We spent just 30 minutes on him. And we had agreed to take him.
We'll talk about time
and after
in a little while.
And after the Akando's vetting, we called for a pre-sitting meeting. We discussed all the issues. And after that, we started the vetting. There was no problem. Look, sometimes people question my long stay on some of their nominees.
And we'll come
to
that. Let's finish with the Clerk of Parliament situation briefly.
I don't
Today
think
you said that there's going to be some engagement.
Well,
and those are already ongoing.
The Clerk to Parliament, engaged our side, particularly me, and
with an apology, or did you offer an apology?
Please, let's take your time. Don't rush me into something.
What was the engagement?
We expect a Clerk to Parliament to be professional. Don't force me into what I'm not going to do. Let's talk. We complain about her conduct. Look.
You asked for her to be dismissed.
Of course, we don't want her there. We've said it. Even on her status, I've printed it for the boss. She'll be insinuating. You see, a civil servant or act in a certain manner. Even on her status, she'll be insinuating. We've printed it. On her status, she'll be insinuating against.
Insinuations can be subjective.
Well, is she a neutral clerk or she's a partisan clerk? Madam, I won't be cowed. We've been in Parliament since 2013. The parliamentary staff know if there's anybody to stand for their right, Kwamena, I do. If there's anybody who respects parliamentary staff, they know I do. I engage them. I'm very nice with them. We relate very well. Unfortunately, this particular clerk has overshown her partisan colors. She's mistreating us. She is not acting a neutral clerk. She's not being very professional. I will say it. I will say it, and I will be firm on that. She was a clerk when we were in government. Ask her. The way she is behaving today, was that the same thing? So when MPP was in power, she was neutral. When NDC is in power, she's showing her colors.
So in case that call is not heeded to and she's not removed from
I've told you that the Clerk to Parliament is engaging. I pray that we get a good outcome and leave this matter behind us.
What will be a good outcome for you?
Well, let's wait. Let's wait. But at the least, we expect professionalism. In the least, we expect her to follow the practices that we all know. You reach out to minority, you reach out to majority. When you are to counsel us, you don't take sides. For now, the Appointment Committee clerk is taking sides. She does not engage us. As we speak, I'm hearing that there would be some vetting today. But throughout the weekend, my phone has been on. We don't have any notice and all. All right? When they place the advert in the papers, they don't even share a copy with us. When we get national security report, she won't send it to you. Look, even the CVs, when they ask her, she will say, oh, I sent somebody to you. at the committee meeting, that is where sometimes chairman will insist that, oh, Clerk, why are you doing this? Then they will bring us copies. We've been accommodating all of these. As minority leader, I'm supposed to have my facts so that when I am doing my work, I will do it in a manner that people would appreciate that indeed the man is not being petty, but he's doing something in the national interest. How do you give me a CV of a nominee at the time that we are sitting? Look at the embarrassment on the Omanibuama situation. The chairman and I asked her, you said you have given the man 9 a.m. We asked you, you said, oh, you called him. He's supposed to come 9 a.m. and the man has delayed. Only for the man to come to say that you wrote a letter giving him 11 a.m. Only for Joyce Bawa-Muktari to draw my attention that our leader, they didn't give him 9. So we were seated at 9. Later you said, oh, you sent someone to call. Committee reports. It's a known practice that the minority leader, the ranking, must get a copy. All committees, when they are done with their work, they share the report, the draft with the leaders.
Okay.
And the leaders are supposed to read, because you also have your side. You must go through and be sure that all the issues you've raised have been captured. Ask her. She's a Christian. She should be honest. She, the clerk, is a Christian. She should be honest and tell the boss whether she's walked to me to share with me a copy of a report.
Perhaps our next sit down should be with
let me tell you something that also.
Then we can ask her some questions.
No problem, I don't have a problem. Let me tell you something that also happened. You know, when MPP was in power, during vetting, NDC could bring evidence, video for nominees to watch and make comments. As one of my video evidence, we gave it to them. You know what? A lot of things are happening. People think we just reacted. I didn't just react. I reacted that way for a good reason, because I wanted to tell them they could not take us for granted.
Okay, so
you know, we were seated. Let me tell you what happened. When we showed the first 3 videos, she came to tell us that there were challenges and that GBC was having challenges. Later, one of the guys who was standing there said she came to tell them that they shouldn't show any video. And she came to lie to us, lie to chairman and I, that GBC was having challenges.
There'll be consequences for that, I'm sure, and those will come up when you go to the next engagement with the speaker and the leader.
A clerk who is supposed to be neutral act this way?
So
you didn't want my video to be shown. So you said there was a technical problem and lied to her. That is another matter I'm going to take up seriously. Look, madam.
I think you should keep us updated on how these engagements will go, so that we get an end to this.
Our side to be taken for granted.
You've made that point.
We would urge our respected clerk to be very neutral and professional. She should serve as a neutral referee and help the cause of Parliament work. Your
comments about this particular figure in this process came on the heels of what we saw, you know, Thursday and everything else that happened in the evening that led to the widely, you know, condemned actions on the floor of the vetting. And you, in reaction to the Speaker's suspension, quite contrary to how you described him at the start of the 9th Parliament, used very strong words against his suspension. You say that he's stifling opposition voices.
That's not strong words. I mean, these are political statements.
Okay.
Madam, let's sometimes
don't let us create
sensation and all.
Okay, so one of it was that he was engaging in selective justice and a disregard for due process, and that it was setting a dangerous precedent for unchecked authority.
Madam,
I'm happy with Thelma.
Yeah, sure. Thelma, you know, in law, there's this saying that when all men find a man's hand in a till, his guilt must be proven. If all men find a man's hand in a till, his guilt must be proven.
Context?
it's a notorious point to admit that when a man is even wrong, due process is very key to arriving at a final decision on what punishment you should mete out. We've expressed our own concerns about Mr. Speaker's decision. It's within our rights. Mr. Speaker is not a perfect person. He's human. He, as the president of the assembly, may want to react to a situation in a certain manner as the head. In the process, if we have issues with it, our duty is to express it. Over the weekend, we were not successful in getting to meet with him, but I believe that today being Monday, we'll be able to engage him the more in person all through to tomorrow and see how this matter can be
Are you
resolved.
seeking to overturn the suspension?
I'm saying that we would engage him. Politics is about engagement. It is when such engagement break down that people see, a certain reaction.
But what's your ask in that engagement?
We would engage. What
are you asking for?
At least we've expressed our disagreement with his approach. So that should signal you how we want the engagement to be. So leave that to us. We'll engage.
So some shifting of the ranks has happened.
We hope that
with the suspension of your three.
We hope that would be heard.
Some shifting of the chairs has happened with the suspension of the three members on your side, and now we are having to see some other people filling the roles.
No. Let's not be crossing bridges. Let's engage.
We are the bridge. We shouldn't cross it.
No.
We should
Let's
wait for the engagement.
Yeah, let's finish the engagement.
Okay. So now let's talk about questions.
Yes.
The concern for some has been that there's a lot of questions asked. Not only that, but also questions that are not directly related to the portfolios that the nominees are brought before the committee for. Why is that?
Okay, so my questions are broken down into three, categories. I deal with your CV, which talks about your track record. I deal with issues that you have brought up in the public space.
And social media?
Yes, public space. The public space includes social media. And then finally, policy. Okay, so I deal with three issues. As I'm here today, I'm sure that if tomorrow NPP comes into office and I am nominated as a minister, whoever will be vetting me will look at all the things I've said in the public space, look at my CV, what I contribute as I come into public service.
And ask you 116 questions.
I'll come there. And also policy, because I'm going into a ministry. Now, the number of questions. Go watch Honorable Aban Babin, the then minority leader. Go and watch Harun Idrisu. When you're done, and I'm sure GBC, you have the archives, go and check the tapes and do your analysis. City has been doing a great job. City FM, they've been doing a great job. GBC, you are the mother of all. Look at all this, do a good research and compare. My questions are far less.
So are you making up for and you've said on this platform that sometimes your people are not ready to ask questions because there's not enough time given them. So are you making up for the questions that other people...
Not necessarily. The practice has always been that leaders have unlimited, because the buck stops with you. And it's not new. It started with J.H. Mensah. Aban Bagbin took over. Che Mensah Bonsu did it. Harun Idrisu did it. Atu Forsen, he was more aggressive Go and watch. Atu and KT Amon. When Atu took over, the judges, the grilling, even in their case, he and his deputy, the deputy ranking, had unlimited. Kwamena, he never asked 3 questions.
So one good turn deserves another?
I'm saying that...
Is it payback time?
No, you see, there's something that you, the media, you also don't do. When people raise these concerns, let them know that they are wrong.
And
let them know, you must also form the opinion, shape it.
But you
must educate the people.
The public opinion, as sampled by samples, and
no, don't go into that partisan. I don't want us to go there.
The assertion that the vetting is being used to settle.
No, please don't go there.
Not necessarily.
Those people are not serious. They are doing their partisan thing. Don't let us go there.
53% strongly agree with that assertion.
Madam, it's not worth discussing. Don't let us go there.
53%.
This platform is a serious platform. You see, when you want to reduce politics into that, then you don't want the opposition to have its say.
But polls have a role.
Wait, do you see the NDC members asking serious questions? Do you see them asking any serious questions?
I've heard Honorable Ayariga and a few others ask some great questions.
Look, if you want to do partisan polls, we can all cook some.
Oh, these are partisan polls?
Of course, these people, we know them. Stop it.
Is it because of what they polls before the election?
They are playing.
And how it's played out in the election and then the numbers?
Madam, they are playing their game. We are too smart to know. Let's not go there.
Okay, so let's just share that information with the
public. I'm not interested.
Okay, and are you interested
I'm not interested. Don't let us go there. I'm not interested.
64% of people who are not satisfied with your questioning and posturing on the committee.
I am not interested. I've given you an opportunity. That share with the viewing public the history behind vetting. That is your duty, to educate, to let them know that since 1997, this has been the trend. The leaders are given unlimited opportunity to do the real scrutiny. Go watch, show them Abangbagbe videos, show them J.H. Mensah, show them Harun Idrisu, show them Atu Fosen. Atu just left office the last 2 years. Let them view it and let them know that Afenyo-Markin is doing the right thing.
But you do know that the strength of the minority.
If you don't help with education, media, inform, educate, I won't always be here. It's not always the case that somebody is saying, Honorable, Beyiwano. No. You as an independent, respected media platform will now do an editorial and educate the public and say, look, what the minority leader is doing is not unknown. It is his work. His job as opposition leader in parliament is to do the scrutiny. This is the history. Since 1997, where we had a real opposition to a government in office, this has been the trend. Let them watch how Speaker Bagbin, then as minority leader, took Kufuor's nominees through vetting in 2001 and in 2005. Let them watch the videos of Mensah Bonsu, what he did as minority leader, the vetting process. Let them watch Harun Idrisu and Muntaka. The two together, they could ask over 200 questions. Nominees, look at Ken Oforiatta. Ken Oforiatta's vetting took 2 days. I've said that Okoto Dianebuje. When it was NPP, the NDC said it's scrutiny. Mr. Blakwa was on the vetting committee. Mr. Suhini, look at how Mr. Blakwa took people through their CV, scrutinizing everything on their CV. Can you play the videos of Mr. Blakwa, who was on the appointment committee, to the public?
What we both agree.
Go through. No, you see,
what we both agree is that the minority has that extra scrutiny function.
Yes.
So if you're saying that questions matter, and I agree.
Let me ask you a simple question. Somebody writes on his CV, he lives at Airport Hills. That place, you buy to own. Airport Hills, the policy, in law we call it covenant. Whatever you sign, the agreement, the covenant in it is that you don't rent. The man writes that he lives there. This is somebody who is a public-spirited patriot.
And he said it's a rented
Wait, I'm making a point. He is a public-spirited person, scrutinizing people's properties. Even me, my property that I've lived in it for over 20 years. They go there with drone. They go in the name of Ora. Me, I'm not in government.
And you see, when you don't complain, like in the case of the Clerk of Parliament, I come to you again. If you feel that your rights have been violated, report it to the appropriate quarters.
Let me make
have you done that?
Let me make the point. They bring drone to take a picture of my house. They go to Lands Commission to even inquire whether my land is a state land. By the way, the entire Winneba lands have been vested.
Let's assume that happened.
Let me make the point.
Do you feel violated?
Let me make the point. That's a different story.
Violated?
That's a different story. The man even comes attacking me. Now, when you ask him, do you own it? He says he's a tenant. 8 years renting at Airport Hills. You say your salary is 15,000.
He took an oath. Do you think he's lying?
Well, the jury is out there. I leave it to the jury.
What do you think?
I leave it to the jury out there. I leave it to the jury out there. I leave it to the jury out there.
You know, people own and also sublet. So there's a lot there until that is verified.
So the chairman does not allow you to scrutinize. A person who is scrutinizing others, he doesn't want to be scrutinized. Correct?
So I have a question on oral, and I'll ask that in a bit. But when it comes to the assertions and the perceptions that people have out there, it appears that the performance of the appointment committee is of concern. And I don't want to refer to the poll, but
yeah, sure.
A lot of people believe that they are not satisfied with the performance of the appointment committee in general. 14% are not satisfied at all.
Can we talk generally?
Somewhat not satisfied.
Can we talk generally and deal with general issues?
How do you think?
You can refer to.
So let me ask you.
You can refer to a general dissatisfaction. It's normal. This is not the first time. Look, this is not the first time we are having vetting. The public would always express.
So my question is based on that dissatisfaction. Do you feel you're doing the job? You're getting the job done?
Madam, it's my first time as minority leader. It's my first time vetting nominees. I will make mistakes. I won't get it all right. There's room for improvement.
What have you got wrong so far?
Day in, day out, mistakes will be made. Day in, day out, there would be improvement. So let's leave it at that.
I want to pick your thoughts on the questions again, and perhaps this will be the last one.
Please, no problem.
You ask others a lot of questions and no questions of others. For those of us who live in Accra, I've read sentiment across social media that the decision not to ask a single question of the Greater Accra Regional Minister nominee was not the best. Why did you not ask her any questions?
If you ask, problem. If you don't ask, problem.
But if you're putting the same hat on one person, put the same hat on so that the cotton board doesn't jet.
If you ask, they came begging.
Who came begging?
They.
Who is they?
They came begging that the woman could not stand the scrutiny. So we just let her go.
Sincerely.
I've just answered you.
But has that done a service to the people in Greater Accra region?
You should judge it.
If the minority
at least
folded on that request.
No, we decided to let it be. But their side should have asked questions.
So why did you allow that plea to hold?
Well, they are begging that the person cannot stand the heat.
So on this particular stance, you yielded?
Well, because obviously she's a widow. She's not, they say she's a widow. They say the woman, cannot stand the scrutiny, had some other challenges, so we let it go.
On this matter?
After all, she qualifies under Article 78, so we let it go.
So if someone comes expecting that same consideration, would that be extended? Because the argument is that Accra has a myriad of issues, and this was the opportunity to really gain her insights into how she intends to make things better. Your administration committed a lot of time and resources towards making Accra a certain way, and I would have expected that you would want to know if some of those, at least, policies would have been continued.
Well, let's give it time. As a regional minister, there would always be an opportunity to come to the House floor to answer questions. So let's give it time. The fact that we were lenient on a matter does not mean that the door is shut. I'm sure.
What opportunity will we have again to?
No, question time.
To probe.
No, question. Parliamentarians ask questions. We file questions. We file questions to allow for accountability, to allow her to come to the House floor to let us know about the policy direction and all. So the door is not shut.
Do you think it's a missed opportunity?
The door is not shut.
Okay. Let's move on to other things. Today we are looking at a parliament that has almost a landslide in terms of numbers. The concern over the tensions continue to brew. What do you think can be done? And I've talked about what the issues that you've had with the speaker and the leadership. You've described Honorable Mahama Ayariga's leadership as a real, democratic approach. What should be fixed?
Thelma, I would be as objective as possible. I know that the work of a majority leader is to engage more, do behind the scenes talking, so that the final outcome becomes smooth. I've been there before. And in my remarks, when Mr. Ayariga and his team were appointed, I told them that the peace of the House will materially depend on them. So far, Mr. Ayariga as majority leader, he's been reaching out. And I find that very exemplary. I cannot say that for others, who I believe that through their aggression, they are creating problem for the work we're doing.
Would that include Mr. Roxon?
We started very smoothly. We started very smoothly. Things were going well. They've been attacking their own chairman on social media. That the chairman is weak, the chairman is allowing Afenyo-Markin to dictate to him. And you see, let us also be careful how, as politicians, we allow social media to dictate to us how we should conduct our affairs. Some people go on social media and throw some things out. And as a result of that, they make things difficult for otherwise a peaceful understanding we've had. For me, criticism hasn't started. Government hasn't done anything anyway.
When are you going to start? You say you haven't started criticizing the government. So when,
have you heard me criticize them on anything?
When are you going to start? Because some hear some of the questions.
Listen, the government is not even a month old. We saw President John Dramani Mahama in on the 7th. Today is 3rd. It's not even 7. At least a government needs 800 days or 120 days. We need to see them roll out their policies. We need to see how the government's thinking pattern is. These are things that I am watching. Then after that, we know what to do. We've not even formed the committees of parliament. They've not finished the appointment. For me, they must be done first. We see action. We are seeing some movement. Today they are forming committee. They are not owning up to their own policies. That is one asterisk I've made.
They are not?
I will talk about it at the right time. I want to see, it's in full 360. Today, a committee here, committee there. The question is that, don't they have a mind of their own?
Setting the tone for discourse and engagement and
we are watching that space.
Relationships.
They have not finished all their nominees. They need to swear them in. We're waiting for deputy ministerial nominees. We need to finish it. For me, that's the posture I've taken. Let the government form. Let them finish with the appointment to the state institutions. Let them get done. Then we know that within the 120 days, they've not brought their first budget. President Mahama hasn't come with the SONA. He's supposed to address Parliament. All these are to be done in the first quarter. When this is done, then we know the path we are going to take. So I would continuously urge upon my colleagues, they should allow their leader to engage. They should allow the chairman to engage. They should not come in with foot soldiers saying that, oh, they are under pressure from their foot soldiers. As for the vetting, we have to do it. As for the scrutiny, we have to do it. If I get nominated tomorrow, I'll go through the same thing. I can't run away from it. But it doesn't mean we are not friends.
Across our social media platforms, we are streaming at Ghana Broadcasting Corporation and on GTV Ghana. Lots of comments there, Honorable. And some of the questions perhaps I'll put to you so we see what your response will be. Green, Echo Media loves your comments about if all men find a man's hand in a tail, guilt must be proven. Atia is asking, how about how relevant are your questions and not about, it's about how relevant your questions are and not about the number of questions. Questions has no burden to us as a citizen. So I guess Albert's point is the relevance of the question is more important than the number of questions.
But have you also realized that the nominees sometimes go round, take a long time in answering a single question? They themselves waste their time. It's not that you spend 3 hours on the nominee. The nominees themselves, sometimes they don't take a cue.
Gilbert thinks that you are taking the vetting too personal and you are using the vetting to clean Ekufuado. And he says that they know the games and they see that after the vetting, there will be no need for you guys.
We ask policy questions. We ask questions on their CV. We ask questions on their own track record. So, Thelma, isn't it okay to find out about a man's track record when he comes into public office? Some of them have never been ministers before. Some of them from school have not done any work in the private sector or have no public service experience. Is it wrong to ask those that have a proven track record? You realize that the engagement is different. For instance, the trade minister who has been Minister of Tourism before, I never asked her a question. Elizabeth Ofosu-Ajare, I didn't ask her a question. She's a senior lawyer, a respected legislator, has been a former tourism minister. She answered all the policy questions that I had in mind.
So it's not different strokes for different folks.
She distinguished herself on the issues.
There's no set of rules for one party and another for others.
Yes, there was no point. And as leader, mine is also to fill the gaps. Okay? If a person has answered the policy questions, why do I take the person through another scrutiny? Okay.
Owusu Champon says, you always use strong words on the Honorable Speaker, and yet you took offense at people who criticize.
Oh, which strong words?
Nanado. So I'm reading the comments as we are receiving them.
At least
and these are the thoughts of those who are sharing
but
them.
At least you should.
And not the thoughts
you would have to also validate, because otherwise we'll just make the whole thing a gallery conversation. People may also be sitting somewhere just typing. What strong words did we use? I've been measured in the issues about Speaker. The statement we put out there, we expressed our concern.
Oh, that was measured.
Of course, but if we say that we expect certain matters to be dealt with through due process, why using due process is a strong word? Let's deal with the substance. Otherwise, we will never make progress. All right? And it's a reason why we believe that we still have to engage and engage. But we cannot also be taken for granted. Because it is also politics that, I mean, the other side is doing.
So on this, someone is asking, why is it that Afenyo is taking the vetting too serious? If it were to be the NPP, will he do the same? So the suggestion that when your party is the one on the seat, then the posturing is different. But when it's the other
obvious.
party,
the truth is that...
So it's politics.
The truth, wait, let me answer the person.
Okay.
The truth is that in every vetting, the real scrutiny comes from the minority. You on government side, you would want to push your nominees through.
So you agree that without the minority, the scrutiny element, the extra scrutiny, I should say, would be lost.
So that is why you should let our tester understand that what I'm doing is for the good of democracy. Because if the minority is not there, you don't expect real scrutiny to come from the majority, because for all you know, the one sitting on the committee is waiting for his or her appointment.
No beard agrees with you. He thinks that you are an unfazed and intelligent leader, and he's asking you, don't pay attention to the unnecessary attacks on you, just do your job. Without your presence, the vetting is even boring, and the majority don't even ask their people anything worthwhile.
You know,
so that's no beard's comment
on that score, as a student, I remember I read a lot about J.H. Mensah. J.H. Mensah came under a lot of attack. Do you remember this famous graphic front page? J.H. Waboda Mensah. Do you remember that? Did you ever read that? Somewhere 98, Tony Edu. There was a front page banner where J.H. Mensah was attacked in that manner. J.H. Waboda Mensah. And then he also responded, J.H. Maboda Mensah. That is what a minority leader goes through. Bagman came under a lot of attacks, newspaper publication, you know, going into his personal life and all. He was unfazed.
So where do we go from here?
I would get it. Please, I want to take you through something.
We'll have to wrap up in 2 minutes.
Very well, no problem. Oseche Mensah came under attack. Harun Idrisu, Ato Force. I won't be the first minority leader to be attacked, because you are leading the onslaught. People would go digging, dig everything about you. You have to be strong. Mine is prayer, hard work, and firmness. But at the time I took up this job, I knew that I will come under attack. I knew that I will not be treated with kid gloves. I knew that people will not be, you know, taking tea with me. I knew.
We offered you tea.
That becoming the minority leader, you would have to do some heavy punching.
But tensions and controversies have
part of it. It's part of politics.
So how do we solve
We have to
that?
manage it. When they come, we need to bring down tension. So on Thursday night, there was tension. We sat
on
together.
Friday morning.
No, on Thursday.
It was not exactly.
No, don't worry. Thursday night, there was tension. We calmed the situation and adjourned. Friday morning, there was tension. We calmed the situation and continued the vetting.
Business as usual.
It is politics. When the tensions come up, we must find a way of resolving. Look at the atmosphere that resulted in the election of the speaker in 2021.
Some say we saw a near repetition of the scenes in that parliament.
I'm saying that
on the 30th of January, but that's all fine.
It's not a good thing to have tension. But when it comes, we must calm it and then get things better. We are doing politics. Sometimes these things happen and they are regrettable. What can we do? We have to start a new day and do things better and manage situations better. That I can assure the people of Ghana.
We'll get back to
that
later
would make
on
things
today.
better. We are not an obstructive minority. We are a very constructive minority, and we'll keep their feet to the fire. Indeed, we are few, a happy few, but a mighty minority.
The leader of the mighty minority, the
leader of the happy few. Yeah, we are happy
and
few.
MP for the good people of Winneba, sitting with us today. So Efutu people,
the headquarters.
Yes, we are coming for Abuacher in May.
Quote unquote, the
we are coming
Republic.
for Abuacher in May. Admin will speak to you after.
The capital of Efutu is Winneba.
Windy Bay.
Yes.
So as a Winneba girl myself, it's always a pleasure sitting with you, Honorable Afenyo-Markin. He is.
And thanks to your ladies, they've been calling me. Sometimes
we have to
I
make
get
sure
hard on them. They'll be saying, Honorable, we want to interview. We are coming to your constituency. I say, I'm under pressure. You know,
under pressure is good.
Tell the lady to take it easy.
No, but you like pressure. So
your lady to take it easy.
We press it a bit, but we will. Well noted. And the Honorable Afenyo-Markin is the minority leader in Parliament and he's ranking member of Parliament Appointment Committee. He sat with us, answered some of our questions, perhaps yours. Over 600 comments on our Facebook stream. I'm not able to go into all the details, but you can watch this conversation all over again across our social media platforms. Honorable, do have a very pleasant day, and I'm sure we'll have you again today. I wish we'll get you again at the end of today to talk about the engagement.
It's always a pleasure coming to your platform. Thank you for having me. Very constructive, open platform. I look forward to coming again. I will come.
Pleasure is ours. Have a pleasant day.
Pleasant day.
And thank you for also watching this segment. We'll take a quick break. When we return, there's a lot you can learn about how to create content for your social media, and we'll teach you some tips after the break.